Hey Sciencepect explorers, cast your minds back over 50 years. July 20th, 1969, a moment etched in history. Humanity takes its first steps on another celestial body. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the moon, thanks to NASA's Apollo program, was a monumental achievement. But after a few more missions, we left. For 5 decades, the moon remained a distant, unreachable goal for human boots. But the wait is finally over. NASA, alongside international partners and private companies, is launching a new era. It's called the Artemis program, and its goal is ambitious, perhaps even audacious. To return humanity to the moon, not just to visit, but to stay, and then to go even further, to Mars. In this video, we're going to dive deep into Artemis. What is it? Why now? What are the missions? What's the technology? And how does this program redefine our place in the cosmos? Get ready, because the future of space exploration is here, and it's called Artemis. Why return to the moon? So after half a century, why the push back to the moon? This isn't Apollo 2.0. Apollo was a race, a sprint to plant a flag. Artemis is a marathon. It's about sustainable exploration. The moon offers incredible opportunities we didn't fully appreciate during Apollo. First, it's a scientific goldmine. Surface holds clues to the early solar system. The permanently shadowed regions at the poles likely contain water ice, a critical resource for drinking water, breathing air, and even rocket fuel. Second, the moon is our nearest neighbor, just a few days away. This makes it the perfect testing ground. We can develop and refine technologies, practice long-duration stays in space, and build infrastructure needed for missions much further afield, missions that take months, not days. The Artemis Architecture, the hardware. Artemis relies on some seriously powerful and innovative hardware. At the core is the Space Launch System, or SLS. NASA calls it the most powerful rocket ever built. It's designed to launch the heavy loads and the crew needed for deep space missions. It's a beast. Riding atop the SLS is the Orion spacecraft. This is the crew capsule, designed to carry astronauts beyond low Earth orbit for weeks or even months at a time. It has a critical service module, provided by the European Space Agency, which provides power, propulsion, and life support. Orion is built for the harsh environment of deep space. Once in lunar orbit, missions might utilize the Lunar Gateway. Think of this as a small space station orbiting the moon. It will serve as a temporary habitat for astronauts, a science lab, and a staging point for missions down to the surface and potentially even further into space. It's not essential for every lunar landing, but it's key to building a permanent lunar presence. Finally, to get from lunar orbit down to the surface, you need a human landing system, or HLS. Unlike the single lunar module of Apollo, Artemis is leveraging private industry for this. More on that in a moment. The Artemis missions. The Artemis program, is a series of increasingly complex missions. It started with Artemis. I launched in late 2022. This was an uncrewed test flight. The SLS rocket sent the Orion capsule on a journey around the moon and back. Its primary goal was to test the rocket, the capsule, and all the systems before putting people on board. And it was a huge success. Orion traveled further than any spacecraft designed for humans had gone before. Next up is Artemis II, currently planned for 2024. This will be the first crewed mission. For astronauts, Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen will fly Orion around the moon. It's a test run with a crew, checking all the life support and human systems in deep space. They won't land, but they'll go further from Earth than any humans have since Apollo 13. Then comes Artemis III, targeted for late 2025 or 2026. This is the big one. Artemis III is planned to put humans back on the lunar surface. And it's historic in several ways. It will include the first woman and the first person of color to walk on the moon. They are targeting the lunar South Pole because of the potential for water ice. The landing system for this mission is expected to be SpaceX's Starship. Beyond Artemis III, the missions continue. Artemis IV, V, and subsequent flights will focus on building out the Lunar Gateway, delivering more hardware and components, and establishing a more sustainable presence on the surface, potentially including habitats, rovers, and infrastructure for that future lunar base, the role of private companies. A major difference between Apollo and Artemis is the huge role of private industry. NASA isn't building everything itself. Companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin are developing key pieces of the architecture. SpaceX won the initial contract for the human landing system for Artemis III, using a variant of their Starship vehicle. Blue Origin is also developing a lunar lander and is involved in other aspects. Beyond the major players, many other companies are participating through initiatives like the Commercial Lunar Payload Services, or CLPs. These companies are contracted to deliver scientific instruments and technology demonstrations to the moon using their own landers. This commercial model is proving faster and more cost-effective for certain tasks. This collaboration between NASA, international agencies, and private industry is fundamentally changing space exploration. It's fostering innovation and accelerating progress towards our goals. From the moon to Mars? So, how does the moon fit into the plan for Mars? The moon is the ideal proving ground. A trip to Mars takes many months, even years round trip. Sending a mission all that way requires robust life support, reliable power generation, radiation shielding, and the ability to use resources found at the destination. By operating sustainably on the moon, we learn how to live and work in a hostile environment far from Earth. We can test propulsion systems, long-duration habitats, and resource extraction technologies on lunar soil before we risk a much longer journey to Mars. The Lunar Gateway can serve as a hub for staging missions deeper into space. It provides valuable operational experience beyond Earth's orbit. The technologies and procedures we develop for surviving and thriving on the moon are directly applicable to a Mars mission. The Artemis program is truly the first step on the ladder to the Red Planet. The Artemis program is one of the most ambitious human endeavors in history. It's bringing back the excitement of lunar exploration, but with a long-term vision that extends far beyond just visiting. It's about building, learning, and preparing for the next giant leap. There are challenges, of course, technical hurdles, funding complexities, and keeping two ambitious timelines. But the progress is undeniable. Artemis I was a powerful statement that we are truly on our way back. The return to the moon, establishing a permanent presence, and using it as a springboard to Mars represents the cutting edge of space exploration. It promises incredible scientific discoveries, technological advancements, and a profound expansion of human capability in the cosmos. The future of space is unfolding before our eyes, led by programs like Artemis. What aspect of the Artemis program excites you the most? Are you ready for humanity to walk on Mars? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this video fascinating, make sure to subscribe to Sciencepect for more deep dives into the latest science, technology, and space news. Just click the subscribe button and the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.